We hope we don't have to, but we're hoping we don't. If it's needed, I'll go ahead and sign it. You want to be on here? No, I'm sorry. Yes, love. It's beautiful. It's a little hidden gem that I mean, we didn't even, you know, my husband found it online and it didn't even have any pictures when we bought it 8-ish years ago. And I said it's ugly if it doesn't have any pictures. But we went ahead and went and looked and I said, okay, I stand corrected. So 1/2 mile from Publix and 3+ acres, and we absolutely love it there. Thank you. Yes.
Unless you'd ask.
I'll put your name on it, Dad. Hey, how are you? I'm Dana. Nice to meet you. I hear all about you, but I think we haven't actually met face to face. Good. Nice to meet you. If you're gonna speak, just sign it. I said, one, we don't need to. I don't.
Yeah, I'll hold on to me there.
Okay.
I don't remember the meeting on May 13th. Meeting of minutes for the meeting of the 13th.
Out. Typically don't include them in the agenda packet, but they were attached to the, and if you want to defer voting on them, if not everyone had a chance to read them, we can defer it to next month. The only item was 501 East Richardson. which was the special exception request for a short-term rental, which y'all approved.
That was the gentleman that lived in California or was going back and
Yeah,
forth between
yes,
California.
there wasn't really much else to the minutes.
Right.
other than- I mean, they were probably like
Right.
this big, so, but
Just need a motion.
I'll leave that up to y'all.
Want a motion to approve?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You want to second the motion?
I'll second it.
Raise your right hand.
I watched the gator.
No old business, new business. Okay. Okay. New minutes. New agenda.
So I'll go ahead and go over the staff report, just so the applicant and the rest of the board are aware, we do have a new board member tonight, so I'll probably talk a little bit more through things than I normally would. Just so Tabitha can see how things work. So this is a variance request for TMS number 13600000189, which is 172 Harvest Way, owned by Giles Kenneth III and Dana. So this variance request is to UDO section 3.5.2 to reduce a 50-foot setback requirement to 12 feet. The property is zoned GR2, which is one of our general residential zones. These lots tend to be the largest of our general residential homes and feature single-family residences. The surrounding zoning, as you can see to the north, would be county property, the south urban corridor mixed use, the east urban corridor mixed use, and to the west, another GR2 and a county lot. So what the ordinance requires is UDO section 3.5.2. These are uses customarily accessory to residential dwellings. So for lots larger than an acre, which this property is larger than an acre, there is no size restriction for an accessory dwelling unit based on the primary dwelling. I'm sorry, not accessory dwelling unit, accessory building. But the structure must be at least 50 feet from any property line. So the 50 feet requirement is what you're considering tonight as they are requesting the building to be within 12 feet. And we'll flip to the site plan once I go through the requirements for finding a hardship. So the board has the power to hear and decide requests for variances when strict application of the chapter's provisions would cause an unnecessary hardship. In order to establish an unnecessary hardship, all four of the below conditions must be met by the consideration of the board, and the onus is on the applicant to state how they meet those requirements. Extraordinary conditions, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property which could exist due to topography, street widening, or other conditions which make it difficult or impossible to make an economically feasible use of the property. Other property extraordinary conditions generally do not apply to other property in the vicinity. So it's referring to this first item not being applicable to other property in the vicinity of the subject property. Utilization, because of these extraordinary conditions, the application of this chapter's provisions to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Detriment, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by granting of the variance. So to give you staff background on this, the need for the variance was determined by staff through site development discussions with the property owner. The proposed building would need to be set back 50 feet from any property line due to the size of the building per the UDO requirements. The proposed location of the building does not present any other conflicts with zoning requirements. So I'll go to the site plan now so y'all can get a better idea of what we're talking about. Here is the primary residence. The property is accessed off of Harvest Way. This is the proposed structure. And here is the dimension of 12 feet from the property line.
I'll jump to some pictures really quick before I hand it over to the applicant. Y'all will just need to talk through your statement that was provided and answer any questions that the board may have. So again, here's the primary residence. The building would be approximately in this location. And I believe this is Central Avenue. Yes. So just to give you guys an idea of where you're at. This is just another view of the property. Again, this is Central Avenue down here. Harvest Way is right here, and that's where the property is accessed. The building would be approximately here. I have the statement included in the packet. I hope all of our board members have had a chance to read them, but if there are any questions, please just let the applicant know. But I'd ask that one of the applicants come up and just be available to answer any questions that the board members may have about their request.
Yes, sir. Are you one of the owners?
No, sir.
Hmm?
I'm
Oh.
actually the contractor.
The contractor?
Yes.
He's probably better suited to answer most of the questions, but I'm happy to answer what I can.
Okay. Any questions?
I have a question. There's right across the property line from the proposed building, there's a couple of structures. What are they and how close are they to the property line on the other side?
You're speaking of where we're wanting to build this structure,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. There are a couple of businesses right on the other side. I believe it's a church that backs up to us. The building that's closer to Central that you can see yes, I believe that's a church.
But there's a couple, I mean, there were a couple on the other aerial, there were a couple
Becca, can you go to slide 7? I think that, yeah, that one.
If this is the property with that giant oak tree in the middle, this is actually slated to be a restaurant use. But they are still working on.
Oh, I think it was a church and they just closed that church down and now it's, yes.
Yeah, they're
going to become.
They're still working through permitting, so but that was the last I had heard.
what are these structures?
I was like, where'd that pointer come from? There are some
You want to borrow?
there are some accessory structures on the property. Really, they're just used for storage at this time. They have to maintain the existing vegetation back here if they do want to move forward with the commercial use. They were planning on having some food trucks stored behind here for use. They can't remain on the property, but they're just storage buildings.
What is that? Where you have the arrow, if you go down, what is that structure?
That's our well house.
Pardon?
Our well house. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The well house is the smaller structure and that is my parents. They live in a camper right now in our. front
Okay.
yard. Sorry about that.
It's a camper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other question?
I have a question for Becca. What's the rationale behind a 50-foot?
So when we were looking at the ordinance, so this building will actually have to be built as a garage accessory, not fully finished, because it doesn't meet the size requirements for an accessory dwelling unit. So basically what that really means is they just can't have an oven range because that would make it a dwelling unit. So in regards to your question, we had a lot of people submitting permits for barns, outbuildings on large properties such as this. And we wanted to put a provision that they wouldn't be limited by the size of a barn or outbuilding structure. It wouldn't need to be diminutive to the primary residence because of the nature of the use. So in that we did not have a size limitation, it was suggested by, I believe, one of our standing committee council members at the time that we just apply, I believe they suggested in 100-foot setback from any property line. We asked if that could be decreased to 50, because if you have property over an acre, you could probably accommodate that. And that was the reasoning behind it. That way you're not having a giant structure that only has a 3-foot setback, because, you know, a neighboring property might not be as large as yours.
So how large will the structure be?
12 by, or I'm sorry.
The size of the structure is total is 2,400 square feet. Half house and half garage. It's a retirement house for my wife.
And it won't have a range?
It won't have a range.
You'll have to go out to eat, right? Next door.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't really have any questions, but I mean, I was looking at the property line and where that's going. Unless I don't know of something else, it doesn't seem to impede on the utilities. It's not on the main road. It's kind of off the driveway. Doesn't seem so bad to put it where you're suggesting, as long as you're comfortable with the neighbors next to you that would be having a look at it and, you know,
We would plan to put up a fence.
I mean, 12 to 50 is it's a wide range.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only part I'm contending with right now. The ordinance is 50 feet. Asking to go to 12 is.
And if y'all mentioned something about food trucks and stuff at that restaurant and stuff, what's gonna happen when those trucks get real close to the structure?
To our house or to the structure that we're building. So, I think you mentioned they have to maintain the trees that are between the two, right?
They do, they're, you know, I can understand your point. It could cause livability issues down the line for y'all placing it there, because that is UCMX zoning. It's one of our more lax zonings. It does allow for a lot of different business uses.
I mean, we already have 2 businesses on that main road in front of us, so we are used to that, the noise that's there and, the people coming and going. Hence the reason we have a gate up. But we also, I mean, we do plan on putting a fence behind their house. Right now, it's just a chain link fence, but we do plan to put up a wood fence to kind of negate that noise.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion? Anybody?
I just, 50 to 12 is a heck of a lot.
Hmm?
50 to 12 is a heck of a lot.
I just want to ask, what made you guys choose 12? I mean, because that is, I mean, 3 times the distance required, but
I think what they're trying to do here is save the trees and everything that's out there, and that's why they've got to sit back so much. And I believe that's
that
But-
gum tree.
Okay, it's a poplar. It's a beautiful, beautiful poplar tree. And I mean, my daughter has swings set up on it, and I mean, it's one of those staples in the front of our yard. And we used to have a beautiful water oak right in front of our house, and that fell the year after we moved into it. And I absolutely love that tree. I don't like cutting down trees, and that is just, it's a beautiful tree, and it will make a beautiful like little front yard for this structure. So we really, it is, I know it's silly, sounds silly, I guess, but that tree is just, it's beautiful and I love it, and I don't want it to come down.
Beck, I know you put up some exceptions earlier, and I don't have the packet in front of me, but did anything in the request meet the exception requirement?
I mean, so normally, just for also Tabitha and the applicant's knowledge, in the past, staff has provided an evaluation of the 4 criteria, but after looking at how the state addresses Board of Zoning Appeals requests, we felt that it wasn't appropriate to have staff influence on that. But if you're asking for my
Yeah, I was looking for you to show the verbiage on the screen of what their exceptions were.
oh, you mean they're just their request?
Yeah, so I don't want to put you in a bad spot.
No, it's not. No. So basically, it it is true that the building could be placed elsewhere. It could be built elsewhere, but they have included their reasoning in their statement that was submitted. I don't know if you want to walk the board members through that statement that y'all provided.
You wrote that.
So we'll start with the extraordinary conditions if you want to.
Okay, so I guess I can just read it.
Sure. We'll zoom in for y'all.
Thanks. Still working on my glasses. So the subject property contains several mature trees and natural vegetation that contribute to the established landscape and ecological stability of the lot. The combination of these existing canopy, the topography, and the limited open space create extraordinary conditions that make strict adherence to the 50-foot setback impractical without significantly disturbing these trees' established site features. So the proposed location for the structure avoids the removal of mature trees and allows for efficient tie-in to the existing water and sewer infrastructure, minimizing ground disturbance and preserving the natural character of the lot. Number two, the conditions not generally applicable to other properties. These conditions, specifically the preservation of mature trees, need for proximity to the primary residence to support elderly care, and existing utility access do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity. Most neighboring properties do not share this unique combination of layout constraints, utility access, and family care needs. And this aligns with legal precedent set by Bennett, Sullivan's Island, so on and so forth. Unreasonable restriction on property use. Strict application of the ordinance would unreasonably restrict the homeowner's ability to make practical and compassionate use of their property. The family's intent to house their elderly parents in a safe, acceptable nearby structure that meets their care needs while still offering privacy and dignity. Without a variance, the homeowners would be forced to either remove mature trees or significantly alter their design in a way that compromises both utility and environmental integrity. No substantial detriment or harm to the district. Granting this variance would result in no substantial detriment to the adjacent properties or the public good, and the character of the neighborhood will remain intact. The structure will be modest in scale, capable in design with the primary home, and screened by existing vegetation. Its placement will have no impact on sightlines, traffic, drainage, or neighboring access, and it allows with broader community values of family support and sustainable development. In conclusion, summary, this request meets all four criteria under South Carolina Code 629-800-A2 and follows established legal precedent under Bennett versus Sullivan Island. The granting of this variance would allow for reasonable and compassionate use of the property while preserving its natural features and ensuring compatibility with neighboring parcels. We respectfully request the board's favorable consideration of this variance request, and please let us know if any further documentation or clarification is needed in advance.
So I have one last question, and if you're the builder, it'll be addressed to you. So what is your anticipation of flooding to your neighboring properties or to their own property by putting that structure up? Because I know Knightsville already has its issues with flooding and drainage, so.
We actually have sent over to the architect and the surveyor and everything to have the site plan to show exactly where all the drainage and everything is going to go. Of course, we'll have the silt fencing, what have you, around to make sure nothing happens. But it's going to be right where it's at right now is it's a clearing anyway. It's flat, and really with just them putting their house on top of exactly what it is right now, it's not really changing much of the topography.
No, but you don't see it. The neighbors are gonna have the food trucks. You don't see them having an issue with flooding or drainage by you putting the structure on their property.
Oh, no, not at all.
There is a, excuse me, there is a creek running across the back side of the property.
Mhm.
Everything right to the creek.
Okay.
I have a question. Does the circle around I guess it's a gum tree right in front of the house, proposed house. Does that represent the tree line?
That is a single tree right in the middle, and we were informed that in order to build around that tree, we had to have that much space. That like we couldn't come within that many with that tree.
So the tree protection requirement for the town of Somerville is 1 foot per caliper inch of tree. So it's based on the diameter at breast height. So that's 26 feet out from the tree in any direction is the tree protection area. The canopy usually follows that, but depending on the species or the lean of the tree, the canopy can vary.
So arguably, you could move it 5 foot into the property. Perhaps.
If I'm not gonna get in trouble for that tree.
As long as it stays out of that protection area, it
What's that?
would be. an
Yeah,
area.
this drawing is showing it 31 plus feet and the tree protection area is 26 feet.
You tell me, sir.
We can definitely move it up, several feet. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Could you go to, instead of 12 feet, 22 to 25 feet?
It's gonna be into the tree. I've only got,
Yeah,
would you say 20?
I mean, get the tree. I mean,
It would,
I think
I mean, they would have to, it couldn't be moved straight forward that far. I suppose if they changed the angle of the house, or moved it further down on the property, those are potential locations just based on this site plan, showing the tree protection areas. But I don't know if the applicant has another reason why that would not be a possibility, if you want to speak to that.
Or if we're moving it down the property.
Right.
There are trees, I don't know, there are trees right there, like we cleared this space for the house because it is exactly where we wanted it, but where it's showing that opening. There we go. There are trees right next to it that we would still have to cut down in order to shift it downward. So that's, we're trying to not cut down anymore.
So this survey is not accurate? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe it's because it's not dense trees. It's not a bunch of trees right there. It's just a few. But correct, we do have a few more trees between where the structure is and where those, that tree line begins.
Do you mind pulling that site drawing up again?
So where it says residual under gravel drive right there,
Like this.
there's some more density, like you said, there's not.
Please don't make us.
No, I was just asking, you're saying it's more dense there than what the.
No, I'm talking, when you were saying like take the structure and move it this way, is that what?
So I was just suggesting that there are areas shown where a 40 by 60 structure could be placed. I think that's what the board is asking as to why could it not potentially be relocated in areas that don't impact the trees?
Are you speaking of where that stamp is right now, where you're?
Anywhere where there's not trees that this rectangle could fit, I guess is the.
Well, so if you did put it like right there where your mouse is right there, they will be looking out their house directly onto the other house. So they're trying to keep it spaced away because if you put that house right there, then, basically you're taking out the view of the front yard for both places actually. So they're trying to keep it as out, as open, the front yard as open as they can, and they're trying to keep all the trees and all the brush and everything that they have right now.
And trying to put it somewhere it makes sense, like our front yard is very open and that's part of the charm of, of our land is that it's open and it's welcoming, but if you put a house right in the middle of it, that it doesn't make sense to have it there.
The only other thing that I would say, personally, this is just my personal opinion, is later on, if they wanted to sell the property, then if the structure is where we have it suggested right there, then the new homeowners are going to pull in and see a very large yard, and it's going to be very appealing to them. Of course, I'm talking if you all sold your property, what have you, but if you put it in the area that, you just had in there, that really takes away from the beauty of this yard, because they have you can see the mature trees that they have there. It's very pretty.
Mr. Chair, given the exceptions and just what I'm looking at and the way it's situated on the property, I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, any? Well,
Had me nervous there for a second.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Those aerial photos don't do justice to it.
I wrote down into.
Oh.
I wish I'd seen it before.
How'd we get past the gate?
I noticed that.
When I was reading that, I was getting a little nervous because I was feeling the vibe over here.
He said it. I heard you say it. You were like nervous when you said it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all.
All right, folks, I do not have anything under miscellaneous, so unless y'all have any questions for me or anything you want to bring up to discuss, we can get a motion to adjourn in a second and everyone can go home.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, everyone turn your mics off, please.